listening to the WDYM, the What Do You Mean podcast. Now everyone gather around and listen to one of Hamilton's best podcasts. No research to back this up. Your host, Michael Gillespie.
Everybody, welcome to the WDYM. I'm your host, Michael Gillespie, like Kobe said. And everybody, welcome to the Alabama Invitational. You may call it the college football playoffs. Let's go. So that's my subliminal jab at the Alabama Crimson Tide, and the SEC for that matter. There's something going on when it comes to college football and the SEC. That's the main topic for today. First and foremost, this is a public service announcement coming from the WDYM. Get your booster. Get your booster. Get your booster. Grab a booster for a friend so they can get the booster too. Because, yeah, I got COVID for the second time about 3 weeks ago. And I want to say that thing kicked the living crap out of me. Yes, it did. Now, this is, like I said, this is the second time I've had this. And the first time wasn't as bad as this time. I've had the flu. That was bad. And I had COVID. That was bad. But COVID 2.0, oh, hell no. That thing beat me down like I owed it money. I'm not playing with you guys. So backtrack a little bit. The first time I got it, I had the injections in me. So that one, you know, it was like, it didn't feel great, but it didn't feel as bad as this one. I've gone about 2 years without a booster. That thing beat the living snot out of me. But now, before y'all think I purposely avoided it, I asked my VA doctor, hey, should I get the booster? No, you young enough, you don't need the booster. So, okay. So I took their word for it. No, not never again. Like my friend says,
no sir, no ma'am, no ham, no bacon.
You give me that booster. I won't be doing that ever again. You get that booster, because I had never, ever felt like that before. So if you hear weird pauses or extra swallows and pause and all that good stuff, it's because I'm trying to breathe and talk at the same time. So the word is booster and the phrase is go get it. Okay. So next year, 2024, college football is having their playoffs, and realistically there was 5 teams up for the position of 4 spots. Now, if you paid attention to college football at all, it's been the worst. They try to make this more difficult than it really should be, and they use computers for the BCS polls, all that stuff. Now there's a committee that's behind closed doors choosing who gets to go in. There was 5 teams that were rightfully eligible to play in the playoffs with 4 spots. So we're going to go down, break down all the teams, and then talk about the state of college football bias that the SEC has over college football. So first and foremost, the 5 teams that were in the consideration for the playoffs start with one of the obvious teams, is the Michigan Wolverines. All right, that's enough. I'm from Ohio, damn it. We ain't gonna be playing that too long, because let me go into this for a little bit. Being from Ohio and, being the age that I am, I'm used to hearing that a lot, because back in the 90s, we had this coach named John Cooper who could not beat the Michigan Wolverines. It took him a hell of an effort or a hell of a team to beat the Wolverines. It didn't happen in the 90s. And then we got Jim Tressel, who came in with the promise he's going to beat the team up north, and he did that successfully well. Urban Meyer came in and did the same thing. I have a history of the rivalry, so that excuse me, that fight song is annoying as hell. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be biased or anything, but when it comes to Michigan, Ohio State, I've heard that theme song enough to give me goosebumps and all that stuff. Now think about it, I have goosebumps right now. Anyway, Michigan, 13-0, 10-0 in the Big Ten. Their non-conference schedule consisted of East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green. So it's safe to say that the Michigan Wolverines earned their spot despite the quote-unquote cheating allegation that has not been determined yet or concluded yet. So you're innocent until proven guilty, right? Michigan is most likely in the playoffs. All right, so Michigan is in 13-0. It would seem like they're in, I should say, right? Along with the next team from the Pac-12, the Washington Huskies. And I gotta say, their fight song is so chill. No, that is chill. That is chill fight song for the Washington Huskies. So they are also 13-0, 10-0 in the Pac-12, with their non-conference schedule consisting of Boise State, Tulsa, and Michigan State. That sounds like a decent non-conference schedule. They would seem like they're in, right? Fair. The next team that should be in consideration is the Florida State Seminoles. 13-0, 9-0 in ACC, with a non-conference schedule of LSU, Southern Miss, North Alabama. That is an FCS school, but I'll get into that later. 13-0, one FCS school. They are in consideration for the playoffs. Next, the Texas Longhorns. And they got another... I should do a top 10 college fight songs. This is another good one. I love this one. I hate to say that, but this is another good fight song. Texas, 12-1, 9-1 in the Big 12 with non-conference games against Rice, Alabama, and Wyoming. And the last team up for consideration is of course what this whole podcast is named after, the Alabama Crimson Tide. I have grown to hate this fight song. Not as bad as Michigan. It doesn't give me goosebumps. This is so annoying, though. I hate it. I hate it. Okay, that's enough. Their non-conference schedule consisted of Mid-Tennessee, Texas, who they lost to, University of South Florida, and Chattanooga. Chattanooga, an FCS school. Now, you may be confused when I keep saying that. FCS school is a division below the FBS, what they play in. The FBS is the top tier division college football. The FCS is not. That is the 5 teams considered for the playoffs, and there's only 4 spots. So let's recap real quick. Just maybe you got lost and like the fight songs and don't remember the records. Michigan, 13-0. Washington, 13-0. Florida State, 13-0. Texas, 12-1. Alabama, 12-1. Now, I don't know about you, but when it comes to playing college football, Texas and Alabama already played each other, with Texas beating Alabama. Wouldn't that say something like, hey, Alabama already played a top 5 team in Texas, and Texas beat them. So Alabama should be out, right? No, this is called the Alabama Invitational for a reason, god darn it. So look here, the team that sat out was Florida State. They did not get selected. The football committee decided to say the injury to their quarterback is the primary reason why Florida State cannot compete in the playoffs. And that's the biggest load of crap I've ever heard when it comes to a team sport. If I'm not correct, there was a offensive lineman from Michigan that got hurt. Was that put into consideration for Michigan to not be in it? No, it wasn't. They were making a loud enough voice for Florida State not to be in it because of their injured quarterback. Now, yes, the quarterback position is probably the most vital position in football. But to say for Florida State to not even get consideration when Alabama already lost to a Texas team that's already in there is a load of crap. What more does someone have to do in college football to get the nod? Alabama has lost a game. Florida State has not. You're asked to do in college football, win all your games. If you win all your games, you do everything what's right, you should have a chance to win for a championship. And Florida State was denied that opportunity. What more does Florida State have to do? They're in a Power 5 conference. They played a good schedule. They played an SEC team. They did play an FCS school, but they did everything they asked and still denied. Imagine you doing your job and imagine you doing your job and you get a review at the end of the year and they say, hey, Michael, you did a great job at your job. You did this excellent. You did this excellent. You did this excellent. Well, thank you, boss. Well, you don't get a raise this year because of that. And you're like, what? It doesn't make sense to treat a school that did everything that you're supposed to do. It makes me think.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
It's very suspicious that the Alabama Invitational took Alabama over Florida State. And there's reasons that it's caused a little suspicion about it. Number one, the SEC is moving to ESPN. Is that not weird enough already that whole conference is going to be on ESPN TV? They're leaving CBS, who they've been on CBS forever. And now they're leaving to go to ESPN. And lo and behold, Alabama is in the playoffs. And these guys are behind closed doors. We can't even see who's voting for what. It's borderline not fair. Just like this playoff system is not fair. I don't understand how they have this playoff system when the FCS, remember I keep mentioning them, the FCS, the lower division, have a format that is foolproof. 24 teams, 10 automatic bids, 14 at-large bids, top 8 get a bye. All teams are considered except the SWAC, MEAC, and the Ivy League. So how hard does the FBS got to make it to have a playoff structure? Copy and paste what the FCS has been doing because it's been successful for years. There's not a complaint. They play it on the field. There's 24 teams. It boggles the mind why all these people cannot get it together when there's an example of a lower division doing it the right way. It doesn't make sense. Florida State has to play Georgia. Now Georgia's the two-time champion, football champions the past 2 years. And my feeling is that Florida State probably feel hosed by the decision. They're probably not going to play because this era, this generation, athletes that don't play the bowl games, that's what it is now. Why would any Florida State player want to play Georgia? Period. Georgia's mad because they're not in the playoffs. I believe they lost one game to Alabama. So yeah, they're mad and rightfully so. And then rightfully so that Florida State players, why should they play? We're always told if you do your job, you will be rewarded. Florida State did their job, and they're not being rewarded for it because it's the Alabama Invitational. That's what it breaks down to is the Alabama Invitational, and Alabama's automatically in, baby. So they play. Alabama plays Michigan and Washington versus Texas. I'll get on a prediction later. But hey, it's Alabama Invitational. Alabama has to be in it, daggone it. And that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. So I started doing research about Alabama and this SEC bias that is clear to me that the SEC has one or two good teams. They're both probably going to be in it. Since the playoffs started, this college football player started in 2014. Alabama, I love saying Alabama. Alabama has been in it since the conception of the college football playoffs. Alabama has been in it, it seems like every freaking year. And their schedule is terrible. This is the thing that gets me mad about Alabama. So since 2014, Alabama Crimson Tide has been in there 7 times, right? I went as far as break down every year that the college football playoffs has existed. I broke down their schedule. And what I noticed is something that at the SEC, well, let's just use Alabama for the example. One of the things I noticed that SEC is always doing, they always playing a soft schedule. Take it for what it's worth. I think it's a soft schedule. Okay. 2014, the cupcakes they played Florida Atlantic, Southern Mississippi, Western Carolina, an FCS school. 2015, they won the championship. They played Wisconsin in their schedule at Texas. What? What?
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
Why is Alabama playing Wisconsin not at Wisconsin or not at Alabama? They got to go find a neutral spot in Texas, and Alabama fans travel. We know that. This is another thing that I point out. Alabama plays Wisconsin and Texas, beats them with the cupcake schedule of Middle Tennessee State, University of Louisiana Monroe, and Charleston Southern, another FCS school. 2016, they play USC in Texas.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
They play Western Kentucky, Kent State, and Chattanooga, another FCS school. 2017, they play Florida State in Atlanta. Why can't they play them at Florida State? Who cupcake schedule? Mercer Bears, Mercer, FCS school. Fresno State and Colorado State. 2018, 14-1. Play Louisville in Orlando, Florida. Can't play them at Louisville. Schedule: Arkansas State, Louisiana Raging Cajuns, and Citadel, another FCS school. 2019. Listen to this cupcake schedule. They play Duke in Atlanta, Georgia. Why? It seems like they're supposed to play Duke at Duke. Nope, we're going to play you in Atlanta, Georgia, and Duke comes. New Mexico State and Western Carolina. Guess what? Another FCS school. 2020 was a COVID year. They didn't play nobody. 2021, play Miami, Florida, in Atlanta. Not in Miami. Cupcake schedule, they play the Mercer Bears and New Mexico State. You trying to tell me? No, wait. Let me keep going. 2022, Utah State, Louisiana Monroe, Austin Peay, FCS school. This year, 2023, Middle Tennessee, University of South Florida, Chattanooga, FCS school. Do you hear a constant pattern when it comes to Alabama football? The mighty Alabama Crimson Tide loves playing FCS schools. Why? Why is it that they're always playing FCS schools? You trying to tell me you can't find a school on the same level as you? This is what makes me mad about Alabama. They have so many cupcakes. They don't even travel. The furthest we're going is Atlanta. Or we going to go to Texas. That's about it. We don't go on the road. Never go on the road. Never go on the road to play a team up north. Come to Ohio State. Go to Michigan. Let's see how you do up there. It's always it always seems unfair to me that they always play these FCS schools. So I said, you know what? Let me do some more comparing about another team that's been in the college football playoffs a lot. Introducing the Clemson Tigers. Clemson Tigers won 2 championships during this time. 2015, 14-1. They played an FCS school in Woolford, and they played Appalachian State. That year, Appalachian State won 11-2. 2016, won the championship, played Detroit Trojans, they played South Carolina State, FCS school. 2017, Kent State and Citadel, FCS school. 2018, they played a Texas A&M team, Furman, FCS school, Georgia Southern. 2019, played the Charlotte 49ers. 2020, Citadel, FCS school. Why? What is this going on with the South where they have to play? They didn't play as many as Alabama, but they still share their share of FCS schools. You're trying to it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It makes me mad to hear that these schools are playing schools. These top-notch FBS schools are going out of their division to play FCS schools. My last comparison is the Ohio State Buckeyes. So Ohio State's been there 5 times. The 5 times they've been there, let's just go over their schedule since this whole thing started. 2014, cupcake schedule of Navy 8-5, Kent State, Cincinnati, who finished 9-4. They won the championship that year. 2016, 11-2, played Oklahoma and Tulsa, Bowling Green. 2017, played Oklahoma again, Army, UNLV. 2018, 13-1, they played Oregon State, TCU, Tulane. 2019, 13-1, played an FAU team, 11-3, Cincinnati, 11-3, and Miami of Ohio, 8-6. 2020 was conference only. 2022, they played Notre Dame, Toledo, Arkansas State. Did you hear any FCS schools that Ohio State played? No, you didn't. You didn't hear one FCS school that Ohio State played. They stay in their same division, FBS. But Alabama, that is full of FCS schools. I need to dig further as far as why Alabama plays FCS schools. My opinion is, if you play an FCS school, you should lose points off your ratings or whatever, however they choose these playoff teams. You should not be playing a team that is inferior to you from the jump. It doesn't make sense why we constantly see Alabama in the Alabama Invitational. But it's in the name. It's in the name. Everybody loves the SEC. Everybody loves to see the top SEC schools because they're flashy and they're great. Now the SEC is good. I'm not going to lie to you, say that they're not good. They're good. They're good teams. All the years that Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase was on LSU, Georgia Bulldogs. I always respect the way Georgia plays because their old school coach Mark Richt said, "We'll play anybody anywhere," and he meant that. But Alabama plays cupcakes all the time, and everybody loves Alabama. It burns me to a point where you see Alabama fans up here in Ohio. Back in the day, you would never see that. You would never see that. But now they're like roaches. They're everywhere. So the prediction: the playoffs start on the 1st. Michigan plays Alabama, and Washington plays Texas. So who's going to win? Let's get the easy one out the way. I think Texas is going to beat Washington handily. I think they're going to beat them handily. Michigan, Alabama, my gut tells me Michigan's going to win. Michigan's going to win, and it should beat Alabama in the Alabama Invitational, which leaves Texas versus Alabama. And then it becomes a rematch of the Texas-Alabama game, and it's going to be same verse, second verse. Texas will win the national championship for 2023/2024. And that's how I'm going to end the show. All right. I'm your host, Mike Gillespie of the WDYM. Alabama will lose to Texas in the finals, okay? With that being said, everybody, enjoy yourselves, enjoy each other, and I'll see you later. I'm out, Boy Scout. Peace!